أيضا بتقديم ورقتها باللغة الإنجليزية، وهذه مفارقة لكن سمحنا لها لأنها ضيفتنا الكريمة العزيزة. تفضلي.
شكرا جزيلا يا دكتورة لانا. أولا أريد أقدم جزيل الشكر لمؤسسة عبد العزيز سعود البابطين الثقافية بدعوة كريمة لي. فسأتحدث اليوم باللغة الإنجليزية لأن هذه جلسة إضافية فسامحوني. Ladies and gentlemen, I was asked to say few words about late Sheikh Dr. Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain. It is very, very difficult task, but I will try to do it within 10 minutes. I am very honored to be able to say a few words about an outstanding man whom I had the opportunity to meet in my life, a poet, a philanthropist, a man who throughout his life guarded the Arabic language, literature, and culture. He was a born orator and put this talent to a great use for Arabic literature. I have experienced many times during conferences and poetry evenings in Kuwait and other countries around the world organized by Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain Cultural Foundation. The purpose of Al-Babtain Foundation was to combat hatred and inequality between people or societies and intercultural dialogue. The foundation playing a huge role in spreading of Arab thought and the development of the Arab poetry movement. Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain promoted this poetic movement, encouraging and supporting outstanding poets and literary critics with awards. He was a great poet himself and loved poetry, which he lived in from his early youth. His poems, full of life, hope, love, and truth, were published in poetry collection, which clearly shows what an extremely sensitive person he was. Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain built the Library of Arabic Poetry. The library building, which is located in the center of Kuwait, attracts attention due to its architectural form of an open book. I was very impressed when I saw it for the first time. The building contains of many features of Kuwait and Arab heritage. It is equipped in accordance with the latest global trends and is the first library in the world specializing in Arabic poetry. Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain used pen, tongue, and money to support the Arabic language and Arabic poetry. He was aware of the enormous value of the role of poetry in the past and present, as well as in building the future of Arab society. The library became the center of cultural life in Kuwait. It is a place where the heritage of Arabic poetry in all possible forms is collected, as well as a center for activating poets on the international arena and developing the spirit of poetry in the young generation of Arab. One of the most important projects of Al-Babtain Cultural Foundation is publishing of dictionaries and lexicons, an example of which is Al-Babtain Dictionary of Contemporary Arab Poets, in which discussed the works of outstanding contemporary Arab poets. It is a source of knowledge for everyone interested in poetry. Outstanding specialists and poets supported the project with their commitment and work. The dictionary has become a source of information for scholars, students, and all people interested in poetry, what is of a great importance for world literature. Thanks to its translation into English, it has become an extremely valuable source of knowledge beyond the borders of the Arab world for anyone who would like to learn about contemporary Arabic poetry. At the library of the Jagiellonian University, my university in Krakow, there are both Arabic and English versions, often used by researchers and students. One of the most important ideas of Sheikh Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain was the civilizational dialogue, a discourse between the East and West, what was main theme of many international conferences which he organized. Scholars from all over the world could discuss the importance of intercultural and interreligious dialogue in the most prestigious academic centers in Europe, in Oxford, in Paris, or Granada. I would like to mention here that I could participate in a conference on the Arab-European dialogue organized in Brussels in cooperation with the European Parliament. And it is my great pleasure that I can prize the historic role of that the European Parliament has played in honoring Kuwait's name in the field of dialogue between civilizations. This was undoubtedly Abdulaziz Saud Babtain's achievement. I had the great honor of being appointed as a member of Board of Trustees of Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain Foundation in the years 2013-2016. During the meetings, I could observe that Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain was a modest, kind, warm, and patient man. He was a good listener and always interested in others' thoughts. These features earned him the respect of the entire community. He was an example of unquestionable authority based on waste of knowledge, experience, and respect for people. With his excellent communication skills, he connected people, poets, writers, scientists, and he united generations. He cared about intertextual dialogue, intercultural dialogue, generously supporting all cultural initiatives in Kuwait and abroad. Every day, he used to create the history of Arabic poetry. Thanks to him, Arab culture, literature, and especially poetry became known all over the world. For this, he was honored with many decorations, medals, and honorary doctorates, including Baku, Yarmouk, Fez, Cordoba, Algeria, Sudan, Kazakhstan, and many, many others. It is impossible to overestimate the enormous influence of Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain on shaping the cultural life of Kuwait and the Arab world. We noticed and experienced his greatness as a man and poet, and we pay him well-deserved honor. Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain will live in our memories and in the traces of his achievements. My humble contribution to the description of the achievements of Abdulaziz was an article in Polish academic journal Rocznik Orientalistyczny entitled The Winds of Passion, Love Poetry by Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain. My students read and translate al-Babtain's poetry and learn with interest about his work and life. As an academic professor, I greatly appreciate the merits of Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain for supporting the Arabic language and founding many chairs of Arabic studies in a number of European universities, serving those interested in learning Arabic language and engaging with its literature and especially poetry. And I was very happy to hear about establishing new chairs of Arabic poetry. When I learned about the passing away of Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain, I began to recall the time I spent discussing Arabic literature with him at conferences he organized. While looking through his volumes of poems and books about him, I came across the memory of Dr. Haris Salijic, who said so beautifully about him. I quote, "Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain is a prominent cultural phenomenon in the world today. He is a man who has devoted his time, effort, and money to promote good words, disseminate culture and knowledge, and bring people and nations together." I would like to extend my congratulations to the State of Kuwait on having given birth to such a pioneering man of letters who believed in the importance of knowledge. I hope and I wish all the best to Abdulaziz Saud al-Babtain Cultural Foundation for future. May God bless him. Thank you very much for your attention.